Hello? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call.
G'day, Ballers, and welcome to the Ballr NRL SuperCoach podcast, coming into the Round 25 Team List Tuesday. Head-to-head prelim finals kicking off this week. The finish line is well and truly in sight. And with me tonight to break down some tricky Reece Walsh-based decisions, some very tough sit starts, as well as the vice-captaincy and captaincy choices, is one of the hottest super coaches in the game, not physically, but in terms of how his team performs each and every year. He is the self-proclaimed head honcho of the Ballr podcasting. He's a 4-time in a row top 500 finisher, including number 23 last year. The coach of the Terrace crew, it's Matty Ricks. How are you, Matty?
Thanks, mate. I'm good. I'm feeling very good after that intro. That's probably my best intro of the year.
Bit of gusto.
I feel like with only two of us on the pod, you could spend a bit more time both thinking about it and delivering it. So I appreciate that, mate. No, I'm good. I'm off a 1283 or something on the weekend. So
nice.
I'm just outside the top 1K, so very close to back in the
You're
1K.
lurking. Have you looked at how many points you are outside the top 500? Is that
mate, I'm more of a process guy than an outcomes guy. So I'm just sticking to the process to try and maximise my points between now and the end of the season.
But you have previously said on the pod that your goal is to finish top 500 again.
It is, but I can't do by watching the scoreboard, mate. There's nothing I can do to do that. So no, I was logging on to Ballr.live just before, and I'm, as I like to do before the podcast, as is my want. And I thought I'm going to sort by 5-round base plus power, and it just warms the cockles to see Rouchy and Touchy at the top of the 5-round base plus power averages.
And a surprise to no one.
And just great symmetry, like you guys touched on it. Like both of them knocking out 70 on the weekend after their mum commented on one of our posts. It just, I don't know if there are two greater men in the country than Rouchy and Touchy right now.
They are my favourite brothers in Ballr. And that includes the fact that I do the podcast with you, Danny Boy and Tubes, who are three brothers. But the Couchmans have you three covered as my favourite pairing.
No, I'm really enjoying the back end of the season. Obviously, I'm trying to climb the ranks back up. I was as high as 27, Jono, at one point before the Trell debacle. So to get back in the top 1K, hopefully this week, will be a good outcome. I've got 2 trades in the bank, and I'm a Reece Walsh owner, and that's going to be a hot topic of the podcast tonight, I've got no doubt.
Very hot topic. Well, I also had a decent week, not as good as you, but I actually was saying on the Sunday Snap, hoping to get in the top 100. I'm back into the top 75.
Yes.
So very happy with
that.
Is
that a thing, the top 75?
It is now. It is as of this week, Matt. When you rank 74, the top 75 becomes
I saw you're actually tied with famed, of SC Playbook fame, Clem, the great Clem Cassidy. You and her are tied as the top podcasting content creators at the moment. So...
yes.
I don't know. Like you had a bit, you caught up with her at Magic Round, and it all seemed pretty friendly. Is that friendliness still going, Jono?
It's a rivalry now. I'm not sure if she's aware of the rivalry, but it is one, because I definitely want to try and get the top podcaster spot when it comes to the end of the year. But good luck to Clem. She's having a good year, so good luck to her in the run home. But I absolutely want to smash her in the next 3 weeks. Want to destroy her. But, Matt, while we're giving our overall ranking updates, got to say the biggest prize for any free-to-join league is the Ballr 10K League. And Rowan's Rebels, coached by your kids, Owen and Rosie, they are back in the overall lead by 50 points. How is the Monday morning breakfast? They pretty fired up?
I checked. You can check the leagues overnight, the live rankings. So wake up in the morning and would just walk downstairs, and they were sitting there eating their breakfast, and just gave them the number one. So there was some good celebrations there. No, they actually didn't have that good a week. They had a 12:30, and so probably just kind of a par score. But thankfully they overtook the leader from last week. So they're very well placed. They got 6 trades, so they can max trade out from here.
Jeez.
And so that's we'll concoct some plans together, but. Their captaining of Nico the last 2 weeks hasn't quite worked out for him, so I think this might be starting to lose a bit of faith in Nico, and captain's a little bit wider open this week, so it should be interesting.
I'm looking forward to talking to the captaincy chat because it is a really tricky week. But because they are your kids, Matt, they are ineligible for the prize, which means the actual de facto leader is Shine Bright, coached by Mick. I think it's his 3rd week in a row as the de facto leader.
Yeah.
And ranked 3rd overall, had another really good week on the weekend. I think he's only about 90 points behind your kids.
He is. He's right in it. He's right on our tail.
Have you chatted to him?
Yeah. I speak to him regularly. Him, me and Danny Boy got a WhatsApp group.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, no, he's having a great year. He's one of the best SuperCoach players in the country. He's got a great record. And, if we don't win it, then I'm certainly hoping that Mick takes it down and certainly hoping that he takes down the Ballr 10K league as well.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, speaking of ballers, and I mean, to be fair, I'd be happy for a few of the other ballers to take it out. I don't know, Mick. You speak well of him, so I'm sure he's a great bloke, but I just want it to be a baller in general, I think.
Well, I mean, what are we looking at here, Jono? Like how many are in the top 10 of the ballers?
Mate, I haven't
rankings.
Looked. Obviously, I know that there's...
I'm going to look right now. So
yeah, get it up there.
We've got 1, 3, 4... Well, how about this? We've got 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9.
It's pretty good.
So that's 6 of the top 10 are in the Ballr League. And we've only got 2,000 in our league. So incredible. So big shout out to Mick, Darren, Jason, Nick, and Mitch, aka Husey from the Discord, all in the top 10, which is awesome effort for all the guys.
Huge effort. Hopefully it can long may it rain.
Well, does it say something about I'm not saying, John, just something about those who use Ballr and the Ballr content. Like, if your friends are not in here, let them know.
Look, Matt, sometimes you say it best when you say nothing at all. We'll let those rankings speak for themselves. Matt, that shirt, lovely. Big Bad Brian. You're rocking the Ballr shirt for those watching on YouTube. And you got a few of those left to give away. You got a couple of Big Bad Brian shirts. You got a couple of Twaller Alert shirts with Alex Twall on the front. Do you have any Call Me Daddy shirts, or did they went first, I imagine, the Call Me Daddy shirts?
Yeah, I think they sold out like hotcakes on the morning.
Yes.
Not sell, but we gave them away. They were the most in demand for the giveaways. But I don't know what I've got. I'll check the inventory, Jono, but we've definitely got a few shirts hanging around, a few hats maybe too. So I think we're going to announce a few little competitions for some end of season giveaways.
Well, I want to announce one right now. Round 27, for those who've been with us for a little while, and I think most people probably haven't, to be fair. A lot of people are new ballers this year.
Listeners, yep.
The vast majority are new ballers this year, and we appreciate you jumping on. But we like to do in round 27 like a little bit of end-of-year awards show. We're not quite sure even what to call it, Matt. We're even willing to have names suggested.
Correct.
We called it the Golden Ballers last year. I was saying maybe the Ballies. In that kind of vein of the Logies or the Oscars, the Ballies. But either way, it's coming up in round 27. And we are interested in some category award ideas. We don't want it to be the boring and the best centre of the year is and the best fullback. We don't want that. That's boring. Plenty of podcasts do that. We want something.
And I'm sure we've done that previously.
I mean, yeah, maybe we have. Maybe I organised it last year, so I take back that insult. But no, look, I think we're after something a little bit different for this. You're saying a little bit fun for round 27. So what we want you to do, if you want to try and win maybe a Ballr hat, a Big Bad Brian shirt, a Twaller Alert shirt, jump into the Ballers Only Discord, head over to the podcast questions section. And if you can chuck in some good ideas of what we could do for awards, if you even have a great name for the show that we can call it annually, we'd love you to chuck it in there. And if we use your idea, you will get a piece of Ballr merch. That sound right, Matt?
That's it. We'll get all that out. End of season. I can't promise sizing, so it's just going to be first come, first serve on some of the prizes for the sizing. But some cool Ballr merch to give away and a fun way to end the year and something to give back to our amazing Ballr community in the Discord.
Yep, we appreciate everyone this year, and we also appreciate the people who continue to like, subscribe, comment, follow on all the social medias. Keep doing it for us. We massively appreciate it. All right, let's jump into our Ballr blueprint now, Matt. And it's all about Reece Walsh. What to do with Walsh? Walsh is gone for the year. He's fighting fit for the World Cup. He was 43% owned coming into this week, a time where and that's in the top 10%. Time where trades are low. So we want to talk through some of the potential options and maybe some of the potential avoids as well. Matt, obviously, it's one of those ones where some people might be able to use anyone. There might be people who have 2 fullbacks and a flex and get in anyone they want. We're mainly going to focus on fullbacks and halfbacks in this. I just want to say, from your perspective, is it too traditional to only consider the fullback and halfback, or is that still the way?
I think at this time of year, you do want a fullback or a halfback. I just don't think there's any option. I think they just have the best option and the most upside for these last 3 rounds. So that's where I'm looking. It's not to say that there aren't some good options at centre wing. It's just you've got to pick the right one and then make sure that they get the flyer. I just think that it's a better go, and there are just some amazing fullback and halfback options. So yeah, that's where I'll be looking. I've got a bit of a strategy for what I'm going to do, but yeah, I'll get to that shortly.
So is it just upside? Is that a big part of it as well? You just think they're the positions where people can get the most bang for their buck?
Absolutely. upside and also floor generally too. Like most of the options we're talking about tonight probably have goal kicking or they're like your really premium guys. And then also we're also looking at matchups, right? And so the upside and matchup part of it is kind of linked inextricably. Where you don't necessarily get as much of that with the centre wings. Centre wings probably where else you'd be looking. It's just not that exciting to be buying forward at this time of year in the flex. So I'd be definitely looking at a fullback or halfback for your replacement for Walsh.
I would say for those who are set on doing it for someone in another position, and I'm sure there are those people out there, and fair play to you if that's you. It's not for me, but I do understand halfback and fullback don't seem as exciting maybe as what they have in the past at the moment. The things I'd look for, Matt, is if you're going to bring someone in that flex position, obviously you want someone who does have a big upside, who can really elevate your team and your score. You do want really strong matchups. You want to focus that. I also think whoever you're bringing in, you'd want to be pretty bloody confident you want to play them all 3 weeks of this run home now as well. So
without a doubt. I mean, they're going to be in your flex, so you have to play them.
Well, you could swap them with other people into the flex and sit them. Like, obviously, that's the flex is if you have a second row forward, you could swap someone else in there.
Jono.
That's what's the flex. But no, I think if you're making a trade, you want someone who you want to play all 3 weeks. So let's talk through the fullback position first. And the first one, and I think it's the one that most people are doing at the moment, it's James Tedesco seems to be the most popular trade in for Reece Walsh. He had a 3-round average of 95.7. One of those was only a half game. The flip side is he's dealing with an ankle injury that's kept him out of the 2 weeks. We don't 100% know that he's going to be back this week because he's been named 2 weeks in a row and has pulled out. And they play in the last game of the round, and that's tricky because Reece Walsh plays in the second game of the round. So you could potentially make a trade in for a guy who won't play this week. Fantastic matchup against the Tigers. They then go against the Dolphins. And Dolphins, obviously, a good team, but can leak points. We've seen that a couple of times against the Seagulls and the Sharks this year. Then they finish off the year against the Rabbitohs, which is always a fun matchup. How do you feel about the Teddy purchase?
Love the Teddy purchase. He's not too far up from Walsh either, so most people with a trade could be able to afford him. I just want to say, Jono, as well, before we get into these specific options, if you've got 2 or more trades left, are you happy to sort of make a second trade to get up to a Teddy if you need the cash or a Sewer? How would you be approaching that part of it, or are you looking for just a Walsh straight to someone this week or next as you're kind of just to make sure you're only using the one trade?
I definitely would want to try and only use one trade. Obviously, trade numbers, if I'm Rowan's Rebels and I've got 6, yes, I'd happily make 2 to get to the right guy. But if I'm 3 trades or less, absolutely not. Are you of the same opinion?
Yeah. So the big thing is that I'm just really high on it, having, if you've got trades left, having at least 1 or 2, ideally 2 for that final week, just given we're just a huge chance of seeing restings. And I heard today as well, I think I was on the Magic Sponge, that Penrith game is the last game of the round in round 27. So we're going to have Milky and Cleary, at least most teams will have them. Then maybe some others. They'll know exactly if they need to win or not then. So they could have like Jack Cole in jersey 22 and I don't know, who's an outside back that never plays for Penrith. Someone else. They just could be sitting there and they could come into the match day squad and there is nothing you can do about it. So being able to stay flexible.
To an extent, because they obviously they'd have to know by 24-hour cuts to be able to do that because you can't drop everyone.
No. But still, if that's a 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. game, then I'm just saying that they might know their fate locked into top 2 or bottom 3, 4 of the top 4 at that point. So it's just the point is anyway. That was a bit tangential. I've been trying to get tangential into the pod for a few weeks, so I'm very happy with that. But the point is that you want trades. These trades are going to be their most valuable in that last round, I think, because it might end up giving you a full extra score.
Yeah.
Where this one you're sort of playing at the margins a little bit more. So I'm with you. If you can just do it in one trade, I don't think it's worth like a big up and down to go from Walsh up to Sewer this week, for instance.
I would agree with that. And obviously there might be people who have money in the bank. So we're going to talk through all the options and people can make their own decision there. But going back to Teddy, Matt, what do people do there?
I think Teddy's the only fullback option for me this week if I was purchasing.
But what about that? What I was saying about the last game of the round for Teddy? What if he's laid out?
So I've got a plan for that, Jono. If this is what you're doing. So I think here is if you do want Teddy and we believe that he's playing, We should know by 24-hour cuts at the worst, I would have thought. If this is when he's dropped out of the squad the last 2 weeks at the 24-hour cuts.
So what's that, Saturday, 4 p.m.?
4 p.m. So we're looking at so we'll get the last 2 games on Saturday night, which are Dragons, Dogs, 7:30, and Souths Warriors. So there's no one really there that you're going to want for fullback from those games, and then you're not going to want Will Kennedy. You could go Keeney for pod, but I wouldn't recommend it. What my plan, Jono, would be there is if I want Teddy and then he doesn't play, I'd be heading straight to any one of those outside backs for the Roosters. So Marky Mark would be top of the pops if I didn't own there. Then I'd be looking at Billy Smith if I could afford him, and then Bobby T, Toya.
Yeah.
So that's the backup plan for Ted. Hopefully we get the info.
Mate, Kalen Pong is one that a few super coaches are doing from Reece Walsh this week. I get it, they got the Seagulls this week, but the people need to look at they got the Warriors away after that and then the bye. I think for me, as much as I'm happy to own Ponga this week, no way am I bringing in Ponga
he's not an option
the rest of the year.
No, he's just not an option. It's a nice matchup. He's not goal kicking. He looked great on the weekend. One of the better 80s you'll probably see this season from KP.
Yeah.
He's just not an option. Like Manly actually got a decent side in this week too. Burbo and Turbo are back, and I still expect the Knights to win, but you couldn't possibly bring in Ponga. You're killing yourself a number for round 27 as well, which is the main thing.
Yep. What about Silfa-Longo? He obviously back off the bye this week. He's expensive. He's 802K. I'm sure there are people who afford him. I could afford Suat this week, and I am looking at it. The tricky thing is they play the Panthers this week. Then they go the Broncos, which is a great matchup. Then they go the Sharks, which, obviously Sharks have been down the last couple of weeks, but I still think they're obviously a good team who deserve to be respected. He's had 300-plus weeks in a row. The weeks where he's not scoring tries, he's still base powering himself to really good scores. Cracker called him matchup proof now on the Sunday Snap and said he wouldn't be too concerned about the Panthers. I can't shake it, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's matchup proof. I do think he can. I think there's a difference between being matchup proof and being able to score really well against anyone. And I think he falls into that category. So I still think, you might get a 50 out of him. I would say that's 40 to 50 is probably his floor in a game like this. He does a lot of work, a lot of runs. You expect that power to still be there. He's a tackle buster. So there are just a lot of outcomes in this game where Melbourne get flogged, unfortunately, and that just doesn't bode well for him. There's also the fact this week that Munster and Grant are back. That can be pick your own narrative there. That can be help or hindrance for Sewer. I think he was becoming very ball dominant the weeks those guys were out, but they were obviously not winning games in that period as well. Look, I think for Sewer, I would be giving him a miss this week. And then if you want to consider, I'd be saving that trade this week if you can still run out a strong 18.
Which most people can.
And then I'd be making that decision next week when Drinky is there as well, and you can go look at Drinky or Sewer. And it might be a bit more viable to even use a second trade than to get up to Sewer with just the 2 rounds left. So, I would be waiting this week on Sewer. It's just the matchup's just not quite there for 800K for me this week. I would much rather be bringing in Tedesco for 200K cheaper and playing the Tigers and a much nicer draw in.
Yeah, I think it's good advice. Well, let's talk about a couple of pods now. The first one being the Hammer so Tabuai Fido, who has had only 2 100-plus scores this year. He's got a 3-round average of 54.7, and that includes 3 tries and an assist. Remaining games against the Eels, the Roosters, and the Titans. I mean, they're not the best numbers when you're putting up that much attack and only getting out 355. I think for me, Hammer's just not the guy.
I've been hearing Hammer's name a lot in the last week or two.
That's why I put him on the run sheet. People are interested.
They're sniffing around. Hammer is a flyer. Like, he can do it, but I think that Hammer's not playing very good footy at the moment. I'm not that impressed. I'm not impressed with his numbers, and I'm not impressed with the form with the eye test either. He's not sort of popping up in the dangerous positions that we saw this time last year. You can see just by the amount of tries, he scored like half the amount of tries this year as he did last year, and he was finishing on a heater at the end of the season last year. Yeah, I just don't think he's the guy. There's no doubt he's got a great matchup this week, and he could score really well. But it's a high upside, low probability punt for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm to be honest, I'm not even considering him.
No.
I put him on the run sheet to talk about it for people who might be, but I'm not.
If you want to have some fun and you don't have the stakes aren't too high for you, then I'd like it would be amazing to watch Hammer go out and get 180 for you. I just can't see it happening.
Yep, agreed. One who I am interested in and who is passing the eye test is Matt Duffy. So numbers are really impressive. Obviously, he had a good game on the weekend. He had 116. He's averaging 82.3 from 10 games at fullback. Across that period, he's got a low score of 38 and a high score of 125. But that 38 was a bit of an outlier. Other than that, he hasn't gone below 50. From rounds 21 to 23, he averaged 68.3 without a single try or try assist. So obviously, his base power is good. His base power 5-round average has him only behind Kinney, Su'a Fa'alongo and Charles Nickel-Klukstad out of all the fullbacks in the NRL at the moment. So he's a kind of a high floor guy. Tricky part is, Matt, they play the Wars this week. They then go against the Titans in round 26, great matchup, and the Roosters in round 27, which, yes, tough matchup on paper. That matchup is always mental. Those two teams always put on a weird game, and where there's often points flowing or sin bins flowing or something, anything could happen. How do you feel about Matt Duffy?
I would be very keen Duffy if he had one better fixture. The Titans one in the middle is really good. It's just likely the Roosters will be playing for top 2 come that game, and they'll be very hard to beat. There's no doubt. You're right. Like Souths could easily win that game too. Roosters and Warriors in 2 of the 3 games is just a little bit too tough for me to consider Duffy. He's got a
two of the 3 worst matchups, isn't it?
He's got a 3-round projection of 73, and that includes an 81 against the Titans in round 26. So yeah, it's just a little bit too tough for me for Duffy. But look, I like him better than Hammer.
Yeah, I like him better than a couple of the ones on the list. To be honest, I like him better than Ponga.
He looks great
just because of the bye.
It's pretty great. Like, we haven't really spoke about this for Duffy. Like, Duffy left the NRL, I won't say in disgrace, but he was like, you were like, oh, we'll never see Duffy again. He's gone to Super League, and
did you see
he's
Sam
done
Burgess
amazing for the Buns this year.
See Sam Burgess taking a bit of credit?
Did he? Sammy never missed.
Just said that he got him over there and just completely changed his mindset and got him, working harder. And that's what we're seeing now. And to Sam Burgess' credit, and maybe a little bit to Matt Duffy's credit as well, he's working harder. So he looks great. I will consider next week for Matt Duffy.
Again, I agree.
I'm not going to do it this week.
It's a next week thing. All these guys, bar Teddy, are next week. It's better purchases next week.
Matt, Tommy Turbo. He's back this week for the Seagulls. He is a really nice price. He's $580K. Most people can do Reece Walsh to Tommy Turbo in one move. The big question is, could you do it again?
No way. This is a hell freeze over type situation, I think. For Turbo.
I need an off season to get myself right for Tommy, and I'll be lured in. I guarantee you, he'll be in my team round 1 next year.
How's the outrage going to be when he turns up this week and everyone's like, "Where was this Turbo?" Like.
Yeah, I'll be one of them. I'll be leading the charge on the Sunday snap.
Yeah. Look, I read NRL Fizz was considering him, Brian. So, look, again, if you've got low stakes and you want to have fun, but if you're trying to win a head-to-head league or trying to get the highest overall rank, I feel like it's a low probability punt. And I think his floor is actually quite low now because the injury risk and Manly are pretty terrible at the moment. I think Dragons will beat them next week. Like, Dragons are quite good now somehow. Well, not good. I won't go that far. They're better. They're trying, which at this time of the year is 70% of it.
Yeah. No way, Tommy Turbo. And look, honestly, I'd love to see him. I was joking. I said it'd be filthy. I'd love to see him come out and get a huge score this week and see him look good. But there's no way I'm touching Tommy
you know what
in
I would
2026.
Love? I would love that he was on the we're talking about him next week as an option for that Dragons game. That would be very funny. A
good game. I could be talked into it. Let's see. Matt, the last one out of the fullbacks is Scotty Drinkwater. Obviously, Cowboys on the bye this week, but we said a lot of people might be able to wait a week because they've got tough sit-start decisions to make anyway. And if you can, he's actually cheaper than Reece Walsh. The tricky thing is people are questioning his form and his upside at the moment. And I can kind of understand why. He's only averaging 58.4 in the 5 games since he's taken over the goal kicking. He's only had 1 try and 1 try assist across that period. 2024 and 2025, he had 700-plus scores. This year, he's only had 4, and none of them have been a long way over 100 either. I just want to know from your perspective, Matt, is he the same Scotty Drinkwater?
I think he's exactly the same Scotty Drinkwater. I feel like this is incredibly consistent with his entire career, where he goes on hot and cold runs all the time, and we know that he's got a lowish floor. We know that he runs hot and cold even, week to week within his team. Sometimes he looks like he's doing everything. Sometimes he looks like he's doing nothing. There's no doubt that he hasn't looked great. Also coincides with a pretty poor run that the Cowboys have had. Like they got touched. Did they lose against Dolphins in round 20? I can't remember that game.
No,
But
can't remember.
Yeah, then in round 21 they had a low scoring win against the Broncos. That was kind of the high stakes game for top 8. Then they got pumped by 70 against the Roosters. Then they had like a grindy win against the Cows, and then they got beat by Para. Now, there have been players in those games from Cows who have scored well. I think, though, that it's just swings and roundabouts with Drinky. He's a high variance prospect. He's got the goal kicking, which means the floor is good. His lowest score in that period is 39 in that game where they got dusted 82-12. So I think his actual floor is more like 50. And I think that's okay, because we know this guy can go 150 on a good night. And they've got, I say it all the time, Jono, the fixtures are everything. And they are playing the Tigers, who just got better today with Adam Dewey news. He won't be there. And then Raiders at home, who in all likelihood, they're just going to Townsville on the way to Bali, Jono. So
that might be a bit overstated now, I think, because that game could be a game for winner makes the top 8.
It could be, but I would still say it's unlikely to be.
Unlikely to
imagine
be.
Simi. Imagine they win this week, Raiders, which they should, and then Simi just delays his shoulder surgery a bit more.
Mate, I've got that on the run sheet. It's a legit possibility.
Yeah.
If they win this week, they're only 2 points behind the Cowboys. Then they both win the week after. They're only 2 points behind. Like if they win that game, they legitimately could make the top 8.
I still think it is a decent fixture for Drinky, and he is my plan A at the moment. But I'm going to hold the trade this week. So as I alluded to at the top of this segment of the blueprint, I think if you can hold the trade this week and run out a really strong team, I think the options that prevail next week. There are 2 caveats to that, and one is Teddy. I think you get Teddy if you could this week in one trade, and another guy who we'll talk about in a minute. But that's my plan A. Hold the trade this week. Drinky in. But if it's not quite looking likely he's the best option, then I'll pivot to another option.
Yeah, I'm doing exactly the same thing. The sit starts are hard enough this week without me needing to bring in another guy and make another choice of who to drop. So I'm with you. I'm going to hold Reece Boyd this week. There is a slight risk that Teddy doesn't play on Sunday, and I'll play a man down this week, but we'll address that as it comes. And maybe that's where I do go to a centre wing in that spot if I need to as well.
Well, you can do it for a week, right, as well, because you can trade out a centre wing the following week and bring in a fullback. So it's a great matchup for it. Like I'm definitely, I won't be because I've only got 2 trades. But if I had more trades, then I'd definitely be considering a centre wing from the Roosters in the centre wing this week. But for a week at flex, fine.
Yeah. My leading candidates, obviously, I already own Teddy. So my leading candidates are Su'a Fa'alongo, Matt Duffy, and Scotty Drinkwater for next week. Matt, moving down to a couple of halfback options. And I think the first one is one that you were just alluding to. It's Sammy Walker. Now, the tricky thing is it is a big jump. He's 858K this week. He's got a break even of 160, but lovely matchup against the Tigers this week. He's shown to have the ceiling. We now know that. He's also had a lot more consistency this year. So they go Tigers this week, then they go the Finns, then they finish off against the Rabbitohs. I would love to be able to do Sam Walker from Reece Walsh in one move. I think I'd probably do it this week.
I'm so scared of Sam Walker this week. So scared. They've just lost Dewey, so that means they've got more makeshift left edge there that they'll be running at on that sort where Walker's on the left. Like you're looking at Jock Madden, it's just can you dig it? He's on that right edge as well. Tony Suka. It's just grim, and I just think that Roosters left edge is just going to run rampant, and Walker will be dishing it all up. It could look like the Cowboys. So the good news for most of us is that he's 858K, Jono. And that means that he's very, very hard to move Reece Walsh to him. That's going to cost you $300,000, which you probably don't have. Now, why that is great for some of you out there is that if you can afford it, I think that's a really, really amazing pod move this week. They've got good fixtures in. They play the Tigers, then the Finns, then the Rabbitohs. So no reason why he can't average 100 plus on the way home.
Yeah. I think he's a fantastic option. Jaden Campbell is one that I thought was also worth discussing because he isn't as big a jump as a Sam Walker. You only have to go 110K up to get to him. The only downside for him, and I'm an owner who has been playing him, he's looked really shaky the last 2 weeks playing with Brimson and Ilias. And obviously on the weekend it did come good. He got 82 against the Knights, scored a nice try, but I thought he had a really poor NRL game, and I'm a little bit worried against the Sharkies this weekend.
I think the context that Jaden Campbell as a purchase needs to be put in is, do you want to get Cleary down to flex? So run Campbell as your second halfback and VC Cleary. It's a great matchup for Cleary this week against the Storm. And he's got another. He obviously, if he does turn up against the Tigers in round 27, then you're going to want to be able to see him or VC at the very least. It'll be C because it'll be last game. But anyway, I wouldn't be buying Jaden Campbell for any other reason than that. So if that's your way to get clear in the flex and you want to do that, then JC is like okay. I kind of agree with you. His NRL game was poor, but he did do some nice SuperCoach things on the weekend. He was looking to run it a lot more, I thought, and he was kind of bit side to side, jumping in and out of tackles.
Yep.
It looked all right. And we might just see a bit more party. 3 games at Seabus to finish the season, and could do well.
Yeah. All right, well, that brings that Reece Walsh segment to a close for the What Would You Do with Walsh Ballr Blueprint. Hopefully it helps people make their decisions. But, I think you and I are both on team wait a week and reassess.
Hopefully there was some stuff in there for the non-Walsh owners as well.
Well, hopefully just a bit of general SuperCoach analysis chucked in. But, Matt, let's move down into our actual positional analysis now. I want to go fairly quick through this one, Matt, and I say that for your benefit because I want to spend a fair bit of time on the sits and starts and the captaincy chat tonight. So we'll talk through a few of these things. There's not a lot to break down in the positional analysis this week.
Especially in the forwards.
No, but starting off with hooker, look, just some team news. Harry Grant has been named to return. He's starting. I just want to know, Matt, Tyron Wishon on the bench. What would you expect Harry Grant to get minutes-wise this week? Are we talking 65, 70 minutes?
Yeah, 50 to 60, maybe 60, probably.
Okay.
Just with the hammy, it just depends. It could be anywhere. Jono, honestly, it could be anywhere from 40 to 80. I've got no idea, really. Yeah.
And Blake Brayley. The Puru is in the halves with Nico this week. And the reason I bring that up is because will we see Brayley defend wide again? I thought that was a really good spot from C-Mac on the weekend. What's the go there?
That was the other Puru, though, that came on the weekend.
Is it? Okay, so this is the normal...
Hoplera Puru.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified it.
Yeah, so he's a lock and a middle. So he came on in the middle and defended a hooker, and Brayley defended at 6.
So this is proper halfback Puru?
Correct.
Okay. So Brayley should be back to making a mountain of tackles again this week. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving down to front row forward, Toby Couchman named off the bench again. Look, obviously, last week he played 63 minutes, which is perfectly fine with a man whose PPM is as good as his, but just worth noting might be a factor in his sit-start decisions. And Alex Twall has been named to return from illness. Otherwise, in front row forward, not much doing. Matt, second row forward, there is a little bit of analysis. First up, team news, Francis Manu Leua is out with delayed concussion symptoms, which is annoying with a really good matchup for the Knights this week. And then next week it goes hard against the Warriors. Then they have the bye. This is probably going to be the last week you're going to look to play him, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
Helam Lukey is being sold by SuperCoaches this week.
What?
I understand the cap. Yeah, he's been sold by not heaps, a couple of hundred of them, but it stood out to me as seeming a little bit crazy. They're on the bye. I know he had a 32 last week. 35 last week with a sin bin though. I don't think there's any world you're trading Helam Lukey with those matchups you spoke about.
Helam Lukey is not playing this weekend, and he's more of a buy than a sell.
Well, people disagree. The numbers
seriously don't sell Helam Lukey. Helam Lukey is one of the best SuperCoach players in the whole comp, and he's got an amazing match. He's got matchup of the year next week. So definitely do not sell Helam Lukey, SuperCoaches, Ballers.
The other one, Matt, who some people are selling him to, there's actually 2 guys that people are selling him to. The first one is Tallis Duncan. Maybe people are a little bit worried about not owning Tallis after another big score on the weekend, but they do play the Warriors. Tallis, 99 on the weekend. If he had got one more point, it would have been his 5th 100-plus score of the year. It's obviously really impressive stuff, and he's had some decently sized ones in there too. Can score a try. I actually think there are some possible Duncan implications this weekend if one Latrell Mitchell, named in jersey 22, if he makes his way back into the squad. And that implication is that Tallis Duncan could move into left edge back row. I think he's pretty safe for 80 minutes regardless. I don't think it's him that suffers from minutes, but I actually got to say, I think I now prefer him in the centres. He's become such a good strike centre who can score a try. The other thing with the South left edge, we saw it with Fafita earlier in the year, is when Trell's there, Trell's the focal point of the left edge. The left edge back row runs a lot of decoys, and I don't want that for Tallis. I want him being a focal point, so I don't like it as much.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going out of my way to buy him, but like, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man Tallis Duncan is. Like, honestly, what a player. Like, I know I don't need
song?
to tell you.
Who sings that song? What a man, what a man.
Is that Salt and Pepper?
Salt and Pepper, nice.
I could just see the team now wanting to do a little overlay of that. But honestly, he is just exceptional player. You guys spoke about it great on the snap the other day. Yeah, look, I wouldn't put anyone off buying him. I think that's a little bit deep on the narrative, Jono, and we're all guilty of it, but I think that's probably a little bit of over-analysis from you there. I just think he's an effective football player and he will be out there scoring a lot of SuperCoach points. The Bunnies will play him 80 because he's one of their best players.
Yep.
And all those things you said do have merit and could implicate and could have an impact. I just think he's going to be a great asset regardless. In saying that, I wouldn't be going out of my way to get him now at this time of year with trades at a premium.
Especially not for Helam Lukey.
Oh, especially not for Helam Lukey.
Hamish Stewart's the other one that people are trading Lukey to this week, Matt, and he became the Dragons' edge back row in round 11. He's averaging 81.8 since that. He's had 7 assists and 2 tries across that stretch. He's becoming a legit premium option. In saying that, still, he looks great. I'm not trading Helam Lukey to him.
Has there ever been a shinier new toy than Hamish Stewart at this time of year?
Yeah.
It's like he was this guy who sort of played lock or started on the bench. He's like a meat and potatoes guy, and then he's just burst out into this attacking weapon on the left edge for the Dragons, scores tries or sets tries up every week now, seemingly. And not even seemingly, he is.
He's literally doing it.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 weeks in a row with a try or a try assist in every game.
Look, again, couldn't begrudge you bringing him in. He's going to do a great job for you. Great base power, great attack, upside. Trades at a premium. What are you bringing him in for? If it's not Lukey, if it's, you're not trade for feeder to him, you're not trading any of the Touchy or Ouchie, he'll come in and do a great job for you. I just don't think that's where I want to use one of my last 2 or 3 trades.
Yeah. All right, let's drop down to halfback and 5'8". I'm going to lump them together this week. And Adam Dewey, Matt, you mentioned the top of the pod. He's out for the year, shoulder surgery. He did look sore on the weekend, but was able to play through it. I guess, Matt, the big question is that just for you makes the Tigers even bigger of a target for this run.
Even bigger target, absolutely. Jock Madden will play not as creative, bigger body, skillful as Adam Dewey. Has done a good job for the Tigers this year.
Agreed. Especially in the earlier part of the year. Didn't
Correct.
look as quite as good the second time around.
Well, he was good while the Tigers were good and trying, and culture was
That's
good.
fair.
But he's just an NRL player. So where Adam Dewey is a borderline star. So look, it's I feel like that was their game on the weekend against the Dragons to get a win to finish the year. I just feel like their motivation's not going to be here from here on out. So it's going to be tough for the Tigers, and I'm targeting them with everything I've got.
It's funny, Tubes. It's not funny. I feel sorry for Adam Dewey, but Tubes made the point. It was after that really big game that they played against the Raiders. Actually, no, sorry, I take it back. Tubes a little bit more Tubes-Stradamus than that. It was the week before. Tubes said the only thing that can stop Adam Dewey this year is injury. And, geez, that's come true. He has just been stopped.
Well, it wasn't just that. He also got in a huge fight with Benji. That stopped him for a week.
Stopped him for a week, but then he came back and got 73 and 102.
Yeah.
So, he's going to be an option early next year. Tamare Martin, obviously, that bad news for Luke Metcalf, or as Cracker called him, Luke Met-Hammy. He's gone for 3 weeks. That's good news for the TMM owners. And there are reports that he's aiming for next week. So if people had him in their trade plans, Matt, would you now tell them to pause that?
Yes. Unless you've got max trades, that would be the only reason I would consider trading, because they've just got nice matchups now, and you would think he'd come straight back in for Luke Hanson next week for those last 2 rounds. And they got 2 amazing fixtures to finish the year. I think they've got Manly at home and I want to say a bottom 4 team at home in the last round. So I'll get that up and let everyone know in a minute. But yeah, I'd be holding Tamari Martin. He'll be a nice number, I think, in the last couple of rounds when we're scratching around for some players.
Yep.
Yeah, and so they go Knights at home into Manly at home in the last round. So 2 premium fixtures. If Manly get a couple injuries this week, they'll be struggling they'll have to send Joey Walsh in his broken jaw.
Yeah, not ideal. Very ideal for the Tamari Martin owners, though. Matt, let's drop down to centre wing now, and our centre wing analysis is brought to you by Ballr. Place your NRL same game multi at Ballr. And, if you're not a gambler, we're not telling you to go over and do it. But if you enjoy a dabble, we'd love you to do it at Ballr. And please always remember to gamble responsibly. Matt, my most exciting team news of the week is that Simi Sasangi is named. He is back. And we'd spoken it before. If the Raiders are in top 8 contention, he's now a round 27 chance. They got the bye in round 26 to give his shoulder another little bit of a rest. And he might now be a number in round 27 that we weren't expecting because of that Cowboys upset loss on the weekend.
Have they said that? Have they said that he might play on?
All Ricky said
this week? Because they said he's going for surgery.
No, but Ricky was down in the dumps, Ricky. They'd come off that loss where he thought the season was over. He was angry at Corey Horsburgh. He was angry at the world. Horse is back in the team this week too, by the way. But Ricky was angry, and he said in round 20, season's over. He said in round 27 we'll play the young guys. And he said, we'll give Simi this last game. But I think Ricky's a competitor, and Simi is a hell of a competitor. I think if there is still a chance, there's a big chance he plays around 27 now.
So if Cowboys buy and then beat Tigers and Raiders buy, beat Broncos then buy, if they can still make it, or do they have to? Well,
I'm just
put you on the spot here, Jono. But
no, I'm going to just get the ladder up now because I think they're only 2 points outside of the 8, aren't they? No, okay, I was wrong. They're 4 points outside of the 8, so they would need.
They're 2 wins behind the Cowboys,
so they would need the Cowboys to lose next week.
Correct.
As well, and then go and then themselves.
So Barley's back on, is what we're saying here.
Okay, it's less. I thought because of the Cowboys lost, they're only 2 points out. That was 6 points out already. So I stuffed that up. So yeah, they would need Cowboys to lose next week, and then is that against the Tigers?
The Tigers.
And then they would need to beat them in the last round.
Correct.
Okay, so you tell me there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance, but yeah, it's unlikely. So I reckon they won't have Simi's surgery booked for next week. It'll be booked for the week after. Yes. And then they can always cancel it if they have to. You
can always cancel a surgery. They're always cancelling them. Matt, the other big team news is, Latrell Mitchell named in Jersey 22. I spoke about the potential implications of Talis Duncan. We'll talk about maybe some David Fafita implications in our sit-start section. But I just want to know your general thoughts. If Latrell comes back, plays the next 2 weeks, gets through the games, would you look at Trell, sub the $1 million price tag in round 27 as just a fun pot against the Roosters?
Only if he was starting and only if I could afford it. Why not?
No guarantee on either front.
Well, they play Titan. If he was starting against the Titan, next week will be the really interesting one. If he's starting next week and you can get him in a couple of trades, then if he imagine he's benched this week, looks good, starts next week, then it's next week he's going to be a red hot pod if that's the case.
Yeah, red hot. Mark Nwangani Talase, he's getting purchased by a few super coaches this week. Obviously, they're playing the Tigers. I mean, should non-owners ignore his current form? Because he has gone 4 sub-50 scores in the last 7 weeks, but do you think that just all goes out of the window with that Tigers matchup?
It hasn't looked as good as it definitely did. He's definitely not as involved. He had quite a good base game against, what was that, a couple of weeks ago? He based, on the weekend.
No, it was the weekend just gone. He had 56 in base plus power.
Yeah, so he that was good. So, I'm fully expecting a ton from Mark this week against the Tigers.
So you think he's a good purchase?
Yes, I do. I think he's the top centre wing purchase for the run home.
Even better than Jermaine Asako, who obviously is more owned. He's $100K more expensive. He's averaging 80.5 for the year. That the Finns play the Eels and the Titans in 2 of their last 3 games. Is he one that you maybe look to bring in just to avoid potential damage?
Yeah, and it feels hard to imagine not owning Asako at this point. But if you've come this far, do you keep going?
I think you keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you keep going.
I wouldn't be bending over backwards to bring Asako in if I didn't own him, but he will score well, continue to score well.
It's been a great, almost an underrated how good his season's been in SuperCoach.
It's underrated how what has happened to this guy since he joined the like? How maligned was he when he used to play for the Broncos and the Titans and stuff? Like people were he
the
was a laughing
Titans
stock.
stint in particular. Mate, I remember like we were doing the pod days back then, and I remember saying like Izzy Katoa was like, I was like, there's no way I'm starting without Izzy Katoa. Asako will be dropped in a couple of weeks, and Katoa will take over the goal kicking. I think it's fair to say I got that one very, very wrong because Asako's an absolute weapon. Like he's completely transformed his career.
Unbelievable, and he's going to Storm next year, and no doubt kill it down here.
Sure will, mate. We got to get to the Ballr same game multi now from you. You lost again last week. You have now gone 0-9 for your Ballr bet, mate. Like, there'd be people out there who could just turn up and do better than what you are so far, and you pride yourself as
anyone
expert.
could. I mean, I'm 0-9, Jono, so yes, people could do better than that.
In fact, most people would. You would say
no one.
So,
now, Jono, I haven't
go.
told you what's coming here this week.
I'm
so
excited.
You're gonna have to forgive me.
You kept it off the run sheet because you wanted to surprise me.
I did. And look, I'm not saying this is the week it's going to turn around, but I do think this week that the South Sydney Rabbitohs are a very, very good chance to knock off the Warriors.
Ooh.
At Allianz. No, not Allianz. What's the stadium called? Accor Stadium. Much more than their current price suggests. So my Ballr bet, same game multi of the week. And obviously no one will be backing this because I'm 0-9 and trying
Nor
to
should
avoid,
they.
Nor from 10. But that's all right because you can go to Ballr bet and pick your own same game multi, Jono. But this is my one for this week. And I've actually put even more effort than usual in this week because I've like, this is a joke, 10 in a row. Like, I'm not having this. Now, South Sydney Rabbitohs plus 8.5 points into Tallis Duncan to score a try. Tallis comes up against Ali Leotawa, who is not so much known for his defence and DWZ. So I think that's a good edge to be attacking. Young Luke Hansen will also be out there and Jacob Laban. So I do think we can see some more Tallis Duncan this week, hopefully before the junk time. But yeah, so that's paying $4, Jono. So plus 8.5 points for the Bunnies and Tallis Duncan to score a try.
I have never wanted a Ballr bet to get up so much.
Yes, but I was worried that you think you half talking like I'm cursing this. Like you told me the Hammer was suffering from the Ballr bet tip last week.
He was. You're talking to his bad form. He heard that you put a bet on him.
Correct.
No, mate. I like it. I don't think you're going to go 10. I think this is the week you turn it around, and I don't mind the Rabbitohs' chance this week for whatever reason. I'm not as scared of the Warriors as I probably should be, and maybe part of it is because it's at a Caulfield Stadium. It's such a bad stadium. It's soulless, and I think that gives South more of a chance in its own way than if we were over there in New Zealand. I'd say no hope. Also,
a sneaky chance Trell comes back as well. Mm-hmm. So that all factors in. I think Souths will get up for this game. It's a huge game for them. It's obviously a huge game for the Wires too, and the Wires are just so resilient with all these injuries they've had this year. They've got 3/4 of their spine out this week, and they're still going to be very, very hard to beat. 3/4 of their spine plus a bit extra of their spine. Their backup spine player is also out. So yeah, it's all well. It's their fourth choice halfback, isn't it, Hansen? I mean, he's playing 5'8", but yeah, they've lost Boyd, Metcalf, and Tamari Martin,
and still going so well.
There's still a huge premiership chance. Like they could easily win the comp.
Easily, and Jackson Ford's been forgotten about as well.
Where is Ford? Is he due back?
I think he was meant to be due back for the semis originally. I haven't been keeping up with the timeline, but I am keeping up with the time this podcast is going for.
Yeah, so I do want to be over time there. Anyway, I just wanted to Tallis Duncan. Let's go, brother.
Gamble responsibly. Let's drop down now to the captaincy chat. And Matt, I just want to take us through some of the biggest options of the week. Obviously, Nathan Cleary playing on Thursday night against the Storm. I know Danny Boy said last week, and a lot of people feel this way about avoiding the Thursday night VC and C. I don't think you can. If you're someone who has the luxury of having the three halfback strat, I'd be bullish on sticking with Cleary VC and Hines C.
Massively. If I have Cleary option to VC this week, I'm VCing Cleary, I think. Two reasons. One is you get that against most people won't be VCing, so I think that's a huge advantage. Like Cleary's obviously got one of the biggest ceilings in the game with quite a nice matchup. And the second is Nicho Hines is awkwardly placed to VC. So I think then you're either I think Hines is a C option, so you need someone before Nicho. if you're going to do that. And then obviously there are tons of good C options as well. So I really would be, if I could VC Cleary and keep Hines C optionality, then that's what I would be doing.
Simi Sasangi, Friday night, 6 o'clock. I joked about it in the Sunday snap.
Keep joking, mate.
I'm not joking anymore. I'm seriously considering it.
What? But his shoulder's about to fall off. Like, it's just way too risky. He could go in. I know, like, he can score well. He's man against boys stuff. Like, he is so good.
And Matt, he's going against the Broncos' weaker edge. It's actually one of the weakest edges in the comp.
It's not going to matter, John, if his shoulder pops out in the first half.
It's a good point. But there's just something vibey and fun about it,
Not for captain.
Matt. SuperCoach is meant to be fun. There's a consideration for me for the VC on Simi.
I get it, Jono. If I own Simi, that's enough fun for me. And I don't. So, Yeah.
Mate, Herbie Farnworth, 3 scores under 60 from his last 6 games. Before that, he'd only gone sub 60 once all season. They're playing the Parramatta Eels, who, despite winning against the Cowboys last week, did not defend well. Herbie Farnworth, I'm still taking him seriously as a VC option, despite a little bit of a slip of late.
Yeah, he's still a huge... I mean, it's only, 3 weeks removed from that Dragons game when he got 120, I think, and that could have been 180 very easily. He left a few points out there, I think, that night. So yeah, he's a huge option for VC, particularly. It's VC or C, but I think VC given the time of the game.
Do you feel the same about his teammate Jermaine Asako in that third game of the round?
The way I've been splitting those two up, Jono, and I actually VC'd Asako last week.
2 weeks in a row, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. I did it in that Dragons game too. But what I did on the weekend, which I haven't done as much, but it's a great resource, is Realm's articles on the left and right side matchups. And that's just a big help for me because it kind of complements the projection data and all the other data that I look at just to see the strength of the matchup from where other teams can see their tries. And I've actually been starting to do a little bit of work myself on where these teams can see their tries, and Manly are very, very leaky on that left edge. So I thought Asako's the better play, and that's how it turned out. So I'll be doing a bit more analysis on those Dolphins edges on the matchups for Para this week, and I urge everyone to read Realm's article, which will drop Thursday afternoon.
It is a good weekly read. I love it. Mate, Kalen Ponga this week coming up against the Seagulls, Saturday 3 p.m. in Newcastle. We saw last week him do a lot to not get a great score, and obviously his ceiling's a little bit lowered without the goal kicking. I'm a little bit more leaning towards one of these Finns guys over Ponga this week.
Not this week, Jono. Not with the Roosters matchup, and Nico still is a better captain option than Ponga this week. Ponga's only a bit of a break glass in case of emergency. Like last week, it was an option if you could have VC'd Hines, just because there weren't many good captains late in the round last week. But yeah, no, not this week.
And that's also where you're speaking about the Roosters and the Sharks during those last 2 games. That's where the Ethan Roberts owners are potentially Ethan Roberts, Terrell May owners who can you can do Hines VC in the second last game.
That's my plan at the moment, Jono. I'm going to VC Hines at the moment and then see Tedesco if he plays.
Is it with Ethan Roberts and then you'd sit Terrell May? Is that your
correct?
Plan?
That's exactly what I have to do.
That's a good place to be this week. Really good place to be.
Yeah. Obviously, there's risk there that Roberts actually comes into the squad. If he's named on the extended again, but we should know that before that day. And obviously, the worst case scenario there is you don't loop and you just captain Teddy anyway, so that's fine. You at all put off for the last couple of weeks of Nico, and also adding to that with Tricky Trindle being out? Does that change your mindset on him at all? It definitely, his projections come down. What's he?
86.8.
Yeah, so he was for this game last week. He was projected for 97, I think.
And the week before that, 106.
Yeah, no, but I'm just talking for this specific game on the look ahead projections that we've got at Ballr Towers.
Gotcha.
His projections come down 11 points in a week for this game.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not what it was, but not many can match Nico's ceiling. I think they'll given they can prepare without Trindle this week, I think they'll be in a much better place than they were reacting to it on Saturday.
That's fair.
So I still expect Hines to score very well this week.
And, mate, James Tedesco, 91.2 baller projection. I guess the risk is for people who can't do that VC Nico C Teddy, because a lot of people won't be able to. Is there risk with this ankle? Should that hold us back from waiting to the last game round to put the C on him?
I don't think so. It's not going to put me off.
Yeah, but
what would put me off is if he wasn't to play, but then, you just have to pivot a Markey and someone who we haven't spoken about, John. I think Sam Walker's an unbelievable option for captain
good shout
this week. I'd almost, if I own Walker, I'd very highly consider captaining him. But yeah, no, I'm not put off by Teddy. It is just going to come down to, do I think that I want to captain Nico, like just that whole dynamic around captaining Nico, waiting for the VC, and just what's going on with Ethan Roberts, and because Terrell May's kind of back to some pretty good form too. He's pretty.
He looked great on the weekend,
so you want a huge score still to sit him. And it obviously comes down to your AEs and all of that as well. And obviously, Jono, this week as well, people have head-to-head prelims, so it's all on the line for a lot of teams this week out there, and you kind of got to, obviously the later in the round you can leave your captain, the more flexibility that gives you to be able to win your head-to-head and throw a high upside dart at your captain.
Yeah. Matt, for the record, you've said your VC and C for this week. At the moment, I'm not joking, as my team's set up, it's VC Sibby, C Nico Hines. It is likely going to be, Matt, VC Herbie, C Nico Hines is where I'm likely to land. But I love the Cleary Hines play if people can do it. And I also love the Nico into Teddy play if people can do it.
I feel like the Grinch, Jono. I've talked you down off this. You've been excited all day about maybe VC and Simi, and I've just completely lambasted you.
No, I've been excited for 2 weeks about it. I spoke about it on the Snap 2 weeks ago that I was thinking about it. But I don't think I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to be out there at the game. So I think just being out there, cheering on Big Papa for his last Raiders home game, cheering on Simi, just getting it done.
The highlight
will be enough for
me. The highlight will no doubt be Big Papa's little boy running out on the field before. And geez, I'm looking forward to watching little Papa run around one day for the Raiders.
So that is actually, when we're talking about son of Josh, it's going to be great. It'll
only be in about 4 years as well.
Well, that was our captaincy chat brought to you by the Ballr rankings page over at baller.live. You've got to check out the player projections. I love the chances of going 100 plus this week's stat. Matt, one thing I wanted to ask you just before we move into sit starts, Ballr model seems a little bit cautious this week. The highest projection of the week is Teddy with a 91.2. And just looking over all the projections, there seems to be a lot less big ceiling projections. Is that the model reacting to?
I might have to. We'll check back in later in the week on this, Jono. There was a release today, so I'll have to double check the numbers. But yeah, okay. Not sure.
No, I just thought it might have been a reaction to maybe some of the lower scoring over the last couple of weeks that we've seen.
No, I'm not too sure, John. I'll have to take a double look at that. But yeah, I did take. There was a few little adjustments that came off. The model's trained a bit better now, but yeah, not too sure. The totals are I'm not sure. I'll take on notes.
Check it out. Watch this space. Mate, let's drop down to some sit starts now. And, Matt, we have a long list to talk about. We can't spend too long on every single one of these guys, but we'll try and give people a helping hand. I want to discuss a group of middles, kind of all in one big hit. And we don't need to discuss every single player here, Matt, but I just want to get your thoughts on what people should be considering when they're sitting or starting all these kind of similar guys. So, Payne Haas, Xavier Willison, Toby Couchman, Terrell May, Keon Kalamatangi, Joe Tarpanay, Alex Twall. Now, obviously, not everyone's owning all of those guys, but a lot of people are owning 3 or 4 of those guys, and they have to make these decisions each week. I just want to get an insight from you. How much time, A, are you putting into making a decision about something that might only have a swing of about 10 points? And B, how are you making the choice?
Yeah, well, on an expected basis, probably a swing of like 2 points. So, you know me, John, I never like to be overwhelmed with outcome bias. My thinking is I will put some time and effort into thinking about it because SuperCoach is obviously incredibly important.
Yep.
The things that I'm thinking about, John, are injuries. Are they injured? Do they have? And then as an extension, like what are their expected minutes look like, and is there variance expected in their minutes? So Alex Twall is an interesting one. Like he's been a bit beat up. He's been sick. If they're getting smashed, is Twall sort of a risk for lower minutes? And I think maybe he is. Toby Couchman, I think, is probably just locked for that 60 to 65 minute role. And I think
he can't mop up more now is the disappointing thing.
That is the disappointing thing. So that definitely plays into it. Keon's shoulder. Like I'm looking at sitting Keon this week just because of that shoulder and like just the risk that he gets hurt again or his minutes are slightly deflated because of that.
And also, Matt, potentially if Sherrill comes in Aitken to the bench, which would not be good for him.
All that. So, yeah, so I'm definitely playing Haas and Terrell May if they just have the least risk associated for me.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like Couchman, obviously, the bench role. What about Big X, Xavier Willison? Because he's probably in for that 60 to 65-minute role, and he has been shown, of kind of all the guys on this list, he's probably the most likely to crash over for a try. Is a chance of attacking upside a factor for you when you?
Yeah, well, he definitely is. He definitely is the most chance for a try. He's shown it all season. Yes, yep, it is. I would have no problems playing Willison. It's just it's obviously in the context of, do you play him over a Twal, and that's inherently, that doesn't feel quite right. It's really tough decisions. I suppose it kind of comes a little bit down to your own, what you like in your players as well, and what you're looking for. If Twal gets the minutes, then he's the best option to play. He's obviously had great work rate all year, but I think it's just a little bit risky with the injuries he's had and the illness. And so, yeah, look, like you said, we're talking about 10 points either way for most of these guys, so don't lose too much sleep over it.
Yeah, although tell that to the Joe Tarpanay owners on the weekend who sat him and he came out and had a monster score, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
I think it was probably the right thing for most people who did sit him. So it's
100%. He's a 55-minute guy. 100% would have sat him, and it just didn't work out, and that's how it can be sometimes.
Correct.
Can't beat yourself up over those ones. Matt, I want to use the player comparison tool over at Ballr.live to look at Harry Grant and Blake Brayley. And obviously there is no world where people are playing both of those guys this weekend. There are many people out there who are now running two-gun hookers because of Harry Grant's injury, brought Brayley in.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
If you're only playing one, Matt, which one are you playing?
Ooh, I'm playing Brayley just for the minutes assurance, Jono. Just as I said at the top of the pod, I'm expecting anywhere from 40 to 80. It actually wouldn't shock me that if, in fact, I think this is probably what will happen. Grant will start on the bench, and Wishy will start at 7 or 9, and Tole will start at the other one. And then he'll come on and he'll play. Either he might come on after 15 or 20 as he's done, and then he might stay on, or he might come off again. So it's just impossible to know. Whereas Brayley, we know, barring injury, he'll be out there for 80. So I'd be definitely going Brayley over Harry Grant.
I think the good thing about that as well is that will make the decision really easy. But for the record, if Harry Grant is named to start, if I own both, I would play Blake Brayley. Minutes assurance, I agree. I want to use the same Ballr comparison tool over at Ballr.live again to go into KL Iro and Ronaldo Mulatalo. Obviously, they have a really nice matchup this week. Are you at all put off by the last couple of weeks? They're playing the Titans. They're in a day game, Sunday 2 p.m., but the Sharks haven't looked as good. Tricky now out on that left edge. Maybe not as good for them as well. What do you think? You're just playing them anyway?
I'm glad you bring this one up, Jono, because these two were robbed on the weekend. That was a try to Ronaldo that he scored.
Yeah,
the ball was on the
agree.
line,
Yeah.
and no one can tell me any different. I cannot believe they didn't give that a try. I am fuming about that from a Sharks perspective. Going to cost us a top 4 spot.
I don't think it's as clear as that. I know I'm a non-Ronnie owner, but I saw Bloke in a bar put up a poll and people got to vote, and the majority of people said they thought it was no try. They agree with the referee's decision.
So am I being accused of Sharks bias here?
You're a Sharks fan who owns KL Iro, who threw the pass to Ronaldo Mulatalo, who you also own. I think there has to be potential bias there, doesn't there?
I'm going to correct the record here, Jono.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, I'm just checking, that I own neither of those players. So
really?
I
take that back.
Biased, but my kids' team may own both.
That's maybe what I was thinking of.
If you can preclude me from bias there. But yeah, no, I was mainly fuming about the Sharks in this game. We played so bad, and yeah, I just thought that was a try. Now, but the point is that these two guys we would have a very different narrative for Euro and Ronaldo this week, I think.
That's fair.
They'd both be looking at scores in the 80s, if those are certainly in the 70s, but potentially in the 80s. So, look, KL Iro has been very disappointing, but 51 base power that's what you're going to get from Euro. So it's just if you can get those attacking stats. Tricky Trindle out is very bad for both these guys. So I can't split them. I don't know who I'd play out of those two. Probably
would you just play
Ronnie.
both?
Well, no, but if I had to sit or start one of them.
No, I'm not saying you have to sit or start.
Oh yeah,
I would
play both.
Would you play both this week, and are you put off by their performances?
No, I still think they'll score well.
I think it's really easy for me as a non-owner who hasn't suffered the blows of the last couple of weeks of Ronnie and KL to go, yeah, they're playing the Titans. Like, I think when you're in that position, it's always harder to make that clear because you're let down by what they've done. But I can say for the record, I would play them. I think if you brought in Ronnie, these are the kind of matchups you brought in Ronnie for.
Definitely playing Ronnie. I think I'd play Ronnie ahead of Hero.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, I think, with that.
Look, just running through a couple more, Matt. Suafa-Alongo, tricky matchup against the Panthers. Do you think he's still just got the upside that you have to play him?
Yes.
It's interesting because last week I noticed in the Balls Zone Discord you were saying to people that maybe Teddy should be a legit consideration to sit, and that was against the Panthers too. So what do you see as the difference between Sua and Teddy?
Teddy's floor was just a lot lower, and he had the injury against Penrith. It's very different with that against the Tigers, where it's much more likely for attack.
Yep.
Where Sua, I think we've just got a bit more confidence in Sua's floor at the moment.
No, I think it's really fair. I was just interested to unpack your opinion on it, but I agree with you. Mate, Simi Sasangi, you own Simi, you play Simi. I'm not hearing any other argument. Cooley Kefu, Fini Fuiaki. Great matchup, obviously, for the Finns this week. The Seagulls have not looked good. But, they're not the Seagulls. They're playing the Eels. I misspoke. But is he even one, Fini Fuiaki, who benefits from a great matchup? He's had 3 tries all year, and he's only had 1 since round 2.
I think the great C-Mac sort of said it once. Some guys just know how to score tries and some guys don't. Earlier in the season, he was getting flattened right on the line numerous times. I'm playing Fini Fuiaki. I'm not sitting Fini Fuiaki. He's in anyone's top 18 this week.
I don't know if he'd be in mine. I think I'd really take a serious look at sitting him. So many players have good matchups this week. You've got to draw the line somewhere.
It's not at Fini Fuiaki for me. He'd be a unless I owned. Yeah, I don't know. Duncan. I'd play him over Duncan this week.
Okay, well, yeah, I was going to say if you're starting him, I'm interested to see which of these guys we're going to.
I'd be playing Ola. I'd be playing Ola, Finney, and Rauchi probably at 2RF. They'd be my 3. Yeah.
Well, what about Fletcher Sharp at 5'8"? The Knights, obviously, we spoke about their matchup there. Day game against the Seagulls. Are you playing Fletcher Sharp again this week with his current run of form?
Yes, 100%.
Yep. Same thing for Greg Marju with Bradman Best named to return.
Yes.
David Fafita. Now, he is interesting because I do think that if Trell plays and Aiken goes back to the bench, it's potentially bad for Fafita. I'm not saying he definitely won't play 80 minutes, but I think it puts back on the table that he might not, because we have seen a couple of games there where he looked gassed and Bennett just goes, all right, that's enough for Fafita tonight, and Ewan Aiken has come onto that edge. That's a concern for me, and it's a factor when I'm considering my sit starts this week if Trell's in the team.
Yeah, I'm going to worry about that when and if Trell's in.
So at the moment, your plan is to play him, and then you pull him out if Trell played.
Yeah, I thought that was Fafita's probably his best game of the season.
It looked really good
from an NRL perspective, and obviously had a really good game output wise, 83 or 85 with a kick try.
Yep.
So really good, strong output game. Looked great, looks strong, looks fit. So yeah, I'm very happy. I sat Fafita on the weekend. Didn't cost me much because I played IPAPs who got 6 points less or something. So yeah, if Trell does play, then I'll look at what the implications are of that. He's kind of Fafita's going to be on the borderline every week for me.
Yeah, he's one that I'm scared of upside potential when you do sit him as well, because he is a second row forward who has a huge upside, as does his teammate Tallis Duncan. Really interested by what you said about you play Fini Fuiaki over Duncan. You got Tallis Duncan as your baller bet of the week, thinking he's a huge chance of scoring, but you're also saying he's a sit over a guy who scored 3 tries this year. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just find that interesting. If you like Tallis Duncan as a chance of
just
scoring,
the matchup's just way better. I do, yeah, but it's all about I still think Duncan is more of a chance than Fini Fuiaki to score, because Duncan's a try scorer, Finney's not. But Finney's work rate is second to none, and if he does jag some meat, then you're potentially looking at a ton. Yeah. So yeah, I just feel like Duncan's shown as well. I mean, Finney has shown it that he can go sub 50, but not probably. I'd still probably expect him to not do that this week. Where Duncan, it wouldn't shock me at all to see a score from 40s from Duncan with no attack.
For the record, Tails Duncan's not even a consideration for me to sit each week. I think he's a clear start. He's just done it too many times.
Probably
Duncan
right.
it too many times this year. So for me, he's not even one of the guys I consider. Even with that tough wires matchup, I think he's just shown that he's got that ceiling.
I thought about sitting him last week, but then never sort of got near it in the end. But yeah. Look, I don't know. I'd have to have a bit more of a think about that dunk. I don't know Anthony Filiaki, so again, it's one of these ones. It's easy to say like that I'm starting him. I just think against the Eels, I just think for the potential that he could get some meat. Lemuel, who's out as well now, so maybe they're hitting him a bit more, in the attacking zones.
Maxi Platt's not exactly like a line runner, is he?
I don't know. There's something about like one of these like stocky little fellas on the edge that gets me going, John. I like it. I can't wait to watch Maxi Platt this week.
Matt, Ryan Couchman, he only got 50 minutes on the weekend. He actually looked like he was probably in for about 10 minutes less until the game really tightened up at the end, but still pumped out a great score. I think I'm backing that maybe him getting less minutes on the weekend was a reward for him playing 80 the week before. I'd be shocked if he was going sub 60 this week. I think it'll sit around the 60-minute mark this week.
I'm just never, ever sitting Ryan Couchman.
Mate, Jacob Kiraz is interesting because they got the matchup against the Bulldogs. I had this one kind of circled on the calendar. Sorry, against the Dragons, for the Bulldogs, against the Dragons. I kind of had this circled on the calendar as one that I definitely wanted to play Kiraz for. But on the weekend now, Bronson Cherry is his starting centre. There's been a Rinakama injury and a reshuffle, so it looks like Bronson Cherry will be inside him. Obviously, Terrell Sloan's not striking a lot of fear defensively, but Jacob Kiraz and that right edge just doesn't look as good at the moment.
I thought I mean he's injured, right? Like that has to be it. He's not the same guy.
He's not.
He's carrying this calf injury. He's bloody tough. In saying that, you can't sit him against the Dragons. Matchup's still too good.
It's so tough, though. There's just so many guys with good matchups. At the moment, I've got him sat, but I'm trying to find a way in, and David Fifita
I'm so glad I don't own him, put it that way.
Yeah.
Like, it's a shocker. It's a shocker. Like, but yeah, the matchup, God, just... It's still... Like, the Dragons, I know everyone's a bit up and about. I still think if the Dogs have... If the Dogs haven't gone to Bali metaphorically yet, they should be able to dispose of the Dragons, I would have thought.
They definitely should. Mate, Jaden Campbell going up against the Sharkies on Sunday. I'm actually sitting JC this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's so many good sit-start tough options this week that JC, for me, I would be looking at playing Jacob Kiraz over him, Talis Duncan over him, maybe David Fifita over him. I don't love that matchup against the Sharks. I don't like how he's looked the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to sit him.
Yep. I'm not... Yep, I can see it. I'm not sitting him, but that's because I don't have another 5'8".
Yeah, so I've got Fletcher Sharp, so I don't like.
Yeah,
I know for me, Fletch is the play over JC this week
Correct.
with the matchups. Last one, Mark Nwangani-Tawase. This is not the week to sit big Marky Mark, is it?
Nope. Mark's getting a start every week from now on. All good matchups.
Big baller projection too, Marky Mark, 83.9. That is of everyone we read on that entire list, and it was extensive. He has the highest baller projection of all of those guys.
Yeah, look, like we spoke about, his form has not been amazing, but his potential to score 5 tries is high.
Yep. So, yeah, I think he's a guaranteed play against the Tigers and possibly against the Rabbitohs in round 27 could be a fun one.
I think he's the best one to
purchase
or play if you were chasing head-to-head victories and your opponent doesn't have. I'd be getting Mark almost no matter what there.
With a little sneaky last-minute work, for sure.
Don't
let them know it's coming. All right, Matt, that wraps up our sit starts. It also wraps up the podcast for this week. I think it's a really tricky sit start week this week. Such an important week for the head-to-head prelims, and good luck to all the ballers. Hopefully we can help clarify and make the right decisions, although it didn't even bring me a lot of clarity doing it. So I don't know how it's going to go down for the listeners, Matt.
Such a hard week, Jono.
It is. Yeah. Matt, anything going on at Ballr Towers that you need to let the ballers know about before we head off tonight?
No, we've got the ball. We got the ballers coming down for Baller Bash again, Jono. Second year. We got all you and Cracker and Tubes and C-Mac coming to Melbourne, so that'll be good. We might even we're going to watch the NFL somewhere, so we might let the ballers in Melbourne know what's going on there, which would be good. But yeah, no, not a lot, mate. Just sort of getting through. We've got 3. It's been a big season. The boys have been working hard, and focus at Ballr Tower is shifting to a bit of NFL, not so much for SuperCoach, but a bit of other stuff. So that's been fun, and just loving it. I'm still in the Discord every day, cracking away. So it's mate, love it, absolutely loving it. 3 weeks to go, and look, NRL finals. Are you going to play NRL finals, SuperCoach, this year, Jono?
Come on, of course, yeah, 100%. I'll probably be hosting a podcast about it. Like, of course, I'm playing that.
Yeah. We'll see about the podcast, but yeah.
All right, Matty. Take us home, mate.
You'll be OT.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.